So there's finally a pinball machine coming to the market that is in the mold of an Arcade1up. Somebody beat Arcade1up to the punch, this company called Toyshock. I'd never heard of them before, but it looks like they make kind of gadgets and gizmos for kids, mostly distributed through Walmart. They've made an arcade machine that's basically the size of an Arcade1up, and I think it looks pretty cool. It's a low cost product. It's $400. It's available for pre-order now in Walmart. It's out December 6th. And there's one review right now on YouTube. A guy by the name of P-Dubs, and I'll put the link in the description, did a really thorough job going through everything. And I think that's great because if you're looking to pre-order this, there isn't a lot of information available yet online. So that review is really helpful. Definitely check that out if you do think about buying this. I'd like to get my hands on one and try it out. I'm going to try to get a hold of one of these, and if I do, I'll do my own review on it. It comes with 12 different tables. They're from Gottlieb. It's not Stern. It's not Star Wars pinball. It's not Kiss pinball, the stuff that maybe you've heard of. But if you're a pinball enthusiast, you've probably heard of some of these tables. And it has a physical plunger that you can see in this promo video to launch the ball. So it has some reasons to, consider this compelling. This is something that you'd want to complete a game room that already has Arcade1ups. I don't think this is a product that will appeal to pinball enthusiasts or even virtual pinball enthusiasts. There's no haptic feedback. It's just a table with a screen, pretty basic 24-inch screen, and then a top box that does not have a second screen, but it does show you your high scores. It does have LED readouts, and it does save your high scores on the different tables. It saves the top 5 scores for each table. I think the real story here is somebody has beat Arcade1up to the punch. They've talked before in interviews and expressed interest in doing pinball. I would put money on them releasing a virtual pinball machine in the future. Their market's only so big. They've come to market. They've established a market for affordable home game room machines. Pinball is just such an obvious next step. There were only so many arcade machines from the 70s and 80s and maybe the early 90s, I guess now, that they're getting into that you can license. Eventually you run out of properties to license. They've talked before about wanting to iterate the products they have, come out with upgraded versions. So sure, you can do some of that, but I think people have an upper limit on how many different arcade machines that they're interested in having in their house. And this is a way to branch out and give you something new to buy. So I expect Arcade1up to put this out. I think the story here is they've been beaten to the punch, and that's surprising to me. It sounds like from P-Dub's review that maybe there are some parts here that are being used that are similar or perhaps identical to what Arcade1up already is using. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the same suppliers are involved here. So they're really stepping on Arcade1up's territory. And I think that's great for the consumer because, if they do come out with their own pinball machine, we're going to have competition, and that's a good thing. My thoughts on this from watching P-Dub's review: sturdier than I thought it would be. It's made out of real glass, real metal. And for $400, in my mind, that's impressive. I expected a lot of plastic on this thing. It looks a little small to me for an adult, but P-Dubs does show it next to an Arcade1up and it fits in. So, I think it probably cuts the difference between what you'd want for an adult enthusiast machine and a kid's machine. And, if you're trying to appeal to a mass market, that's probably a good place to be. I thought the display, though, was the most impressive thing in that video review. Looking at it through the camera, I've not seen it in person, but it really looked nice. Now, this promo video from Toyshock keeps talking about 3D technology. I thought maybe, is this glasses free 3D like you'd get with a 3DS? It doesn't seem to be. It just, they're rendered 3D graphics. Sure, there's no 3D effect. That would have been cool. But the display looked really sharp. The colors looked great. It looked impressive. The reviewer said it looks even better in person than on the video. So, for the screen, I'm sold. For the quality, the size would be nice. It is a 24-inch. You can see how huge this bezel is. Not to mention the bezel's gray for some reason when everything else on the machine that's metal is black. I don't know what they were thinking. And, you know, people don't want to see a lot of bezel anyway on any product. So the fact that you're now really drawing attention to it with gray is a little bit weird. But if you're going to get a quality screen, I think I'd rather sacrifice on size a little bit and get something that looks good. Sounds like this is running Android. It sounds like this is, you know, a typical emulation package that you can download to run virtual pinball machines. So this is kind of off the shelf tech, which I'm not surprised. This is a small company. This is a new product in market. I would really guess if this is successful, we're going to see revisions. We're going to see other licenses available. And remember with Arcade1up, when they launched, their quality was really shaky. This looks like this is ahead of that first gen of Arcade1up already. But if the past is, you know, to be expected to happen again, I think we're going to see more quality here if this is successful and they launch another one. For me, I'd like to see something that's a little bit higher quality than this, maybe some basic rumble haptics. It'd be really nice in my mind if that back box had a second monitor, a dynamic display, so that you can really mimic whichever table you happen to be playing. I do think a 3D monitor would be nice. I don't know what those cost on a 24 or 27 inch screen. I'm sure it's expensive for glasses free 3D, so I don't at all expect that, but it would be cool in a future release. Getting that 27-inch monitor would be nice, really fill out this table and get rid of that bezel. And of course, it'd be cool if they licensed Stern, but I'm sure that costs a fortune. We'll see if that happens or not. When I first saw this product, I had a feeling that the virtual pinball enthusiast community would not really be excited about this. It's pretty low end for what they're doing when you build your own product, when you have really advanced haptics, and you put a lot of money into the thing. It's going to be a lot nicer than something that's $400. I took a look at this thread on Pinside, and that's pretty much what I saw. People are maybe a little bit interested. Some folks on here excited that we're growing the market for pinball if this is successful. But you know, at the end of the day, I don't think people are throwing out their homegrown products or even putting this alongside that. And that's interesting because the Arcade1up cabinets, a lot of people have those beside some of the original arcades. And yeah, they're a little smaller, they're not quite as nice, but they can kind of coexist. I don't think that's going to be the case with pinball. However, I suspect, and I don't have any numbers to back this up, but I suspect the market for home or having a commercial arcade unit in the home is a lot more common than having a pinball in the home, just because of the upkeep and the lifetime cost of having a pinball in the home. So I think there's a lot of space here to grow the pinball market, but you know, nobody's throwing out their home built stuff or even the higher end kit stuff for one of these tables from Toyshock. That's all I have for you now. Hopefully we'll see a lot more information come out about this Toyshock Virtual Pinball after the product releases on December 6th. Let me know what you think in the comments if this is something that looks compelling to you. I'll be curious to see if this catches on, and we'll find out if there's really a market for a low-cost pinball machine in the home. That's all I have for you now, guys. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.